This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
It's Friday, August 1st, 2025, and here are today's stories. Billions in profits, endless paperwork, and rising frustration. America's health insurance industry is under the spotlight. Is patient care getting lost in the shuffle? A warm bowl of soup means more than just comfort in Ghana. Field Messenger Desmond takes us inside the heart of community and tradition with a hands-on look at how this cherished dish is made. If you're using a window AC to stay cool this summer, listen up. Medea just recalled 1.7 million units due to potential mold risks. And even if your model isn't part of the recall, mold could still be growing inside. Mountains meet the sea in a place where myth and beauty collide. Field Messenger Monica explores the Olympus Riviera, a stunning stretch of Greek coastline rich in history and charm. In a world that often feels disconnected, a little empathy can go a long way. We explore how this simple human quality builds stronger relationships and a deeper sense of belonging. And we hit the trail on Georgia's Big Creek Greenway, where Field Messenger Rumi shows us how this peaceful path is helping locals slow down and reconnect with nature.
The health insurance industry in the U.S. is a massive, complicated system that touches nearly every part of American life. It's an industry making billions in profits each year, but it often leaves people questioning whether patient care is truly the priority. For many, it feels like profits come first, while health outcomes fall by the wayside.
According to financial data, since the Affordable Care Act passed, the top U.S. health insurers have made more than $371 billion in profits. United Health alone accounts for 40% of those profits, seeing a 400% increase in annual earnings, while reportedly denying nearly 1 in 3 medical claims. To make matters worse, reports show these companies use tactics like requiring prior authorizations that delay treatment and harm patients. And it's not just delays. Some insurers have been called out for outright shady behavior. A Wall Street Journal investigation revealed certain Medicare Advantage insurers reported false or questionable diagnosis, draining $50 billion from Medicare between 2018 and 2021. These reports included conditions patients never had or already had been treated for, all in a bid to snag extra taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, Medicare Advantage patients often face more delays and higher out-of-pocket costs compared to traditional Medicare. It's a lose-lose situation for patients.
The problem is that at its core, the goal of the private insurance industry is not to make people healthy. It is instead designed to make money. And I'm not saying that as a dig to insurance companies. That's just the way corporations work in the US. There's this strand of thinking called shareholder primacy, the idea that shareholders come first. This concept was articulated first in the 1919 Michigan Supreme Court decision, Dodge v. Ford Motor Company. The court's decision said that there should be no confusion. A business corporation is organized and carried on primarily for the profit of stockholders. While this is not a legal mandate, scholars have pointed out that it is a standard of conduct. So in practice, the way things play out on the ground, the main goal of a corporation is to make money for shareholders. And because the main goal is to make money and not necessarily to make people healthy, the private insurance industry has found a lot of different ways to actually prevent people from getting health care.
The issues don't stop there. Medicaid, another critical program, has also faced its share of challenges. Between 2019 and 2021, insurers were double paid by Medicaid when patients were enrolled in 2 states at the same time. While most patients received care in just 1 state, Medicaid paid insurers for coverage in both. This costed taxpayers billions of dollars, with private insurers like Centene, Elevance Health, and United Health Group pocketing the excess payments. With Medicaid and Medicare costs exceeding $1.8 trillion annually, this issue puts immense pressure on taxpayers, prompting calls to reduce excessive payments to insurers.
Taxpayers spent billions of dollars covering the same Medicaid patients twice, according to a journal analysis of Medicaid data. Here's how it's possible for insurers to get duplicative payments. Imagine this is a Medicaid recipient in Florida. From January through March, Florida pays the patient's private Medicaid insurer for coverage. In April, the patient moves to Georgia and signs up for Medicaid there. That state begins paying an insurer. The patient begins getting all medical care in Georgia, but the payments in Florida continue. The money that Florida paid the patient's old insurer in the months after the move to Georgia is a waste for taxpayers. From 2019 to 2021, states made duplicative payments for an average of about 660,000 patients a year, totaling $4.3 billion in payments. The Medicare and Medicaid agency doesn't screen for double patients. It leaves that to the states. States say it's difficult to know exactly when people have moved or recoup duplicate payments. Insurers say they follow the many state and federal rules in their industry, including ones that limit profits.
The healthcare system has its issues, and prescription drug pricing is one of the messiest. Ever paid your copay only to find it's cheaper without insurance? That's because drug pricing is super complicated and often lacks transparency. Thanks to a practice called clawback, insurers sometimes make pharmacies send them the difference between what they collect from the consumer and what the insurers agree to reimburse pharmacies, leaving you footing the bigger bill than necessary. This makes drug prices wildly unpredictable, and figuring out what you should actually pay feels impossible.
Did you know your insurance company profits when you use your prescription insurance? That's insane. That is not insurance. Here's how they do it. Take Libiprostone, for example. This medication costs $27 at my pharmacy without insurance. But if Medicare pays for it, they get charged $275. 10 times my price. That's not big pharma charging an insane price. They sell it cheap. That's why I can sell it cheap. But when you use your insurance, they make up a price and they charge the payer, which is your employer or the government. You have your copay at the counter, but behind the scenes, they also charge the payer. If you happen to get your med at a pharmacy owned by the insurance company like CVS with Caremark and Aetna, then they'll pay that upcharge to the pharmacy. But if you get it at a pharmacy they don't own, they just keep it. The insurance middleman jacks the price up 10 times higher than it needs to be, then they just keep the money. They don't make the med, they don't prescribe it, they don't sell it, they don't dispense it, they don't use it. All they do is tell us how much to pay, and they gouge us and keep the spread. It's infuriating because it's hidden. We wonder why premiums go up, but healthcare doesn't improve. This is why.
If all of this wasn't enough, health insurance premiums are about to rise sharply for people using Affordable Care Act marketplaces like healthcare.gov. Premiums are expected to jump an average of 75% next year because temporary subsidies introduced during the pandemic are expiring. Without these subsidies, many people may drop their coverage, leaving only sicker people in the insurance pool, driving costs even higher. Congress could step in to extend the subsidies, but political opposition makes that unlikely, which could leave millions uninsured.
Today we experience the rich culinary traditions of Ghana, where food brings families and communities together. UNN Field Messenger Desmond shows us the traditional way of making soup.
Hi, my name is Dexmon, a field messenger for UNN. In this video, you will see a beautiful black African woman holding in her hands a small rounded like stone, moving her hands on a circular shape like stone on top of some arranged woods. She is not doing any other thing else but grinding some cooked vegetables for soup making. In some part of Africa, we don't use blending machines, so this type you are seeing is what we normally use for grinding vegetables and any other ingredients that you would want to grind. This is natural with no artificial chemicals. It is a green leaf that they have put inside a stone, and instead of using mortar, they are using a stone radar, and then they are manufacturing an ingredient used for soup. It is a green leaf that they have washed and prepared it, and then they pound it until they get a required one that will be suitable for preparing the soup. Thank you for watching. Desmond reporting from Ghana, West Africa.
If you've been relying on a window air conditioner to beat the summer heat, especially one made by Medea, you'll want to check this out. The company just issued a massive recall involving 1.7 million AC units because they could be making people sick. And honestly, even if your AC isn't part of this recall, mold might still be lurking inside. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission recently recalled a whole bunch of Medea's U-shaped window air conditioners. Why? Because water was pooling inside the units and giving mold a perfect place to grow. There have already been more than 150 reports of mold-related issues, including people getting sick with coughing, sore throats, allergy symptoms, and even respiratory infections. If you have one of these units, it's a good idea to stop using it for now. Medea is offering a few options to help. Free repair kits you can install yourself, professional repair services, or prorated refunds, whichever works best for your situation. In the meantime, it's also worth checking your unit for signs of mold growth. Here's how to inspect it safely.
So first, you're just going to want to make sure the unit is unplugged, and then you can manually lift this up here. And then you'll want to use a flashlight and look at these blue pieces back here. And if there is mold, if you use a light, you'll be able to see it a lot clearer. But you would see spores and little spots on there. That's kind of the main thing to look for there. And then the second place that you're going to want to look is you're going to pull this off here. There's like little tabs. And once you take this off, you'll see that there's then this filter, which you can just pull down and remove. And then you're also going to want to look down here in the bottom of the pan to make sure that there's no mold or water buildup there. And that's all there is to it.
Mold in air conditioners isn't just a Medea problem. It's something that can happen in any window AC unit, no matter the brand. All window air conditioners are designed to pull moisture from the air as they cool, and that moisture turns into condensation. Ideally, it drains out of the unit and away from your home, but when things don't work quite right, like if the AC isn't tilted properly, the drainage holes are clogged, the drip tray stays damp, or if the weather is especially humid, that excess moisture can start to collect inside the unit. Combine that with dust, pet hair, or other debris, and you've got exactly what mold needs to grow: a dark, damp, dirty environment. Even if your window AC seems to be running fine, mold can quietly build up behind the front grille, along the coils, or deep inside where you can't easily see it.
It's not just the Medea U-shapes that have the possibility of growing mold. And the reason for that is because of them being so compact, being close to that window with the change in elements and temperature, you have a lot of condensation type issues that can come up. Condensation, when it forms, obviously that's water. Water can be a source of how mold is able to grow, especially if the room that it's in is a humid environment. Also, not having proper drainage can lead to it as well, which sounds like is the main issue Medea was looking at before they issued the recall. So that is just a fact when you're dealing with window AC units, that there's a very good chance that if things are not being maintained properly, you probably have some mold growing in that AC unit.
While mold in window AC units is getting attention, it's important to know that central HVAC systems can also grow mold. Just like window units, they pull moisture from the air. If that moisture doesn't drain properly, it can build up inside coils, drip pans, or ducts, creating ideal conditions for mold to grow. The difference? HVAC systems are bigger and more hidden. Mold in these systems can spread throughout your entire home via ductwork, making it harder to spot and more widespread. So, how can you tell if your HVAC system has mold? First, look for any signs of water or moisture buildup around the vents, the air handler, or drip pans. Standing water or stains are warning signs. Next, pay attention to any symptoms you or your family may be experiencing, like increased sneezing, coughing, watery eyes, or other allergy-like reactions when indoors. Notice a musty or damp smell coming from your vents when the system is running? This smell is a classic sign of mold growth inside your HVAC system.
So, yeah, we're in a whole dirty crawl space. Got a house here where they're talking about a musty smell. You're going to have it when you got an old, damp, wet crawl space in the south. You see how the insulation's sagging, where it's getting heavy from the humidity in the crawl space. You know what we can do about that. But having this big hole above the panning for your return is definitely a problem. Right there. Because that's getting pulled right through back into the system and going right back into the house. Yeah. Big old hole right there. So we'll have to get this sealed up and fixed.
If you suspect mold, it's a good idea to call in a professional to inspect and clean your system thoroughly. The bottom line, all air conditioners, window units, or central HVAC can develop mold without proper maintenance. Keeping filters clean, ensuring proper drainage, and scheduling regular inspections are key steps to protect your indoor air quality and health.
At New Earth Innovations, we searched the planet for nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory. We found it off the coast of New Zealand. Omega 369 Plus is made from Perna, the green-lipped mussel, rich in natural omega-3s, chondroitin sulfate, and rare glycosaminoglycans. Support joint flexibility, easier breathing, better digestion, and a calmer, less inflamed body naturally. Grown in clean New Zealand waters, backed by nature, sustainably sourced, trusted by thousands. Subscribe today and start feeling the difference.
Hello, I'm Susan from Sweden.
Mwanda Michael from Eastern Uganda, Africa.
Hi, I'm Tim from Vancouver, Canada.
I'm Titeshwar Hogao from Manipur State, India.
I'm Gumba Obasi from Southeast Nigeria.
Arnaito Chakrini from Western Uganda, Mbarara.
At United Network News, you are the news.
My name's Christina, Field Messenger, report first one in the hurricane down here in Southern California from Mexico.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. At UNN, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Jason from United Network News. We're going to be doing some air creep building with new technologies that allow us to live in comfort and also off the grid.
Take the next step in changing the way the world gets the news. Become a UNN field messenger today.
I am Michelle from South Africa, and we are the United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
If it is going to be, then it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Si va a ser así, depende de mí. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN.
The Olympus Riviera in Greece is a breathtaking place, blending Aegean Sea beaches with the stunning backdrop of Mount Olympus. UNN Field Messenger Monica explores the region's beauty and timeless charm.
Hi, this is UNN Field Messenger Monica reporting from Greece. The Olympus Riviera is a 70-kilometer stretch of coastline, a coastal paradise on the Aegean Sea and one of the Greece's main tourist destinations. It includes several resorts such as Paralia, Litochoro and Platamonas, and is bordered by Mount Olympus, which gives it its name, making the mix of mountain and sea here one of the highlights of this unique destination. In addition to swimming, sunbathing, and enjoying water sports, a vacation on the Olympus Riviera can include many other unforgettable experiences thanks to the area's rich history and breathtaking natural beauty. Litochoro, a gorgeous town at the foot of Mount Olympus's eastern slopes, is the perfect choice for an active vacation in nature. Hike through the landscapes of the Olymp National Park or discover the area's other attractions. For example, a fairly short light-intensity trail in the Enipeas Canyon of Mount Olympus leads to Zeus' Tub. The Meteora monastic complex is considered to be one of the most impressive places in all of Greece, a place of religious, historical, geological and architectural significance. Meteora, which translates as suspended in the air, is a spectacular complex of 24 Orthodox monasteries perched atop cliffs, a true symbol of human endurance and a setting that seems to have stepped out of a land of legends. Each of the 6 monasteries that are open to visitors is one-of-a-kind combination of spirituality, art and history. The most important monastery in the complex is called the Great Meteora. Located 613 meters above sea level on the highest cliff, it was built around 1340. For a foray into the traditional world of the Greek village, you can head to the historic Palaios Panteleimonas, with its narrow alleyways lined with old stone houses. And if you fancy a change of scenery, you can take a cruise to one of the nearby islands, such as Skiathos Island, which hides some sensational views. The city will enchant you with its narrow streets, where you can get lost in a relaxing stroll. Of course, on one of your walks you will have to reach the clock tower. It is the symbol of the city, and once there you will be able to admire the harbor and the charming surroundings from above. Kokounarias is the most famous of the 60 beaches of Skiathos and in the top 10 most beautiful beaches in Europe. It is a fine sandy beach bordered by a beautiful and refreshing pine forest with protected natural area status. The pine forest is a true paradise for nature lovers and hikers. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Empathy is a beautiful thread that connects us as humans, allowing us to understand and share each other's feelings. It's present in our everyday lives, from comforting a friend to simply listening with an open heart. The impact of empathy is profound. It builds stronger relationships, kindness, and a sense of belonging in a world that often feels rushed and disconnected. Research shows there can be differences in how men and women experience empathy. Women often score higher on empathy tests and might feel more cognitive empathy than men, but it's not always the case. However, not everyone feels empathy all the time. Some people are naturally more empathetic, and we're also more likely to feel empathy for certain people over others. It can depend on how we see them, how we interpret their behavior, what we think caused their situation, or even our own past experiences. Empathy may not always come easily, but understanding how it works can help us strengthen this important human connection.
Real empathy is connecting to someone in their emotional language, not yours. Right? That's real empathy. That's real connection. That's real compassion, is that you're able to communicate with someone and express your thoughts in their emotional language, not yours. And this is something we struggle with, because when we're feeling tired, exhausted, stressed, overworked, we communicate more in our language because we want to be heard, not realizing that when we fight for being heard, we actually alienate the other person. They're just disconnected because we're speaking a foreign language. That's literally what it sounds like.
Being super empathetic is great, but it can also leave you feeling drained. This is called empathy fatigue. It can happen when constant stress or trauma wears you out emotionally and physically, which is common for caregivers and healthcare workers. Signs include feeling powerless, isolating yourself, or losing energy. It can even cloud your judgment. Empathy comes in different forms. Affective empathy is feeling someone's emotions. Somatic empathy is physically reacting to their feelings, and cognitive empathy is understanding their thoughts. Unlike sympathy or compassion, empathy is about actively stepping into someone else's shoes.
You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the third quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the third quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course, it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output. And we have to practice empathy.
Empathy is a mix of nature and nurture. It comes from both our genes and our experiences. Traits like agreeableness and conscientiousness can make people more empathetic, but how we're raised plays a huge role too. Research shows children are naturally empathetic, but life experiences and mental distractions can dull that over time. Negative experiences can cause this shift early, and even naturally empathetic kids need to strengthen it, like a muscle that needs regular exercise. To help children develop empathy, it starts with us. Show kindness and understanding in your own actions, even during tough moments, so they can see it in action. Talk openly about emotions and take their feelings seriously to teach them how to see things from others' perspectives. Encourage acts of kindness, whether it's helping at home or in the community.
In order to teach your child how to be empathetic, you have to first model what empathy looks like. The next time your child comes to you and tells you that you made them feel sad, don't dismiss them. Avoid saying things like, oh, I didn't mean that, I was just kidding, or you shouldn't be upset over that. Instead, validate their feelings. Let them know, I understand. What I did made you feel sad. I'm very sorry. Apologize for what you did that made your child sad and let them know that you won't do that again next time. This not only repairs the relationship with your child, but it's also modeling to them what it looks like to take ownership for your behavior and how to apologize for it. Children learn from behaviors we model, so make sure that you're modeling empathy to your child.
People with lots of empathy usually do well socially. They often have bigger friend groups and deeper relationships, says Good Therapy, a group of mental health experts. Empathy helps us connect better with family, friends, and coworkers. On the other hand, not having much empathy is often linked to issues like narcissism or antisocial behavior. Empathy truly makes the world a kinder, more connected place. Whether it's a small act of kindness or taking the time to really listen, It all adds up. So let's keep practicing empathy and make someone's day a little brighter.
The Big Creek Greenway in Georgia, USA is a peaceful trail for walking, running, and biking. With a scenic creek, wildlife, and a friendly vibe, it's a favorite place for locals to relax. UNN Field Messenger Rumi shows us around.
Hi, my name is Rumi. I'm reporting for UNN from Alpharetta and Roswell, Georgia. This is my favorite trail. It's called the Big Creek Greenway. It's a popular paved path for walking, running, and biking. A lot of time. I see deer, turtles, a lot of birds, herons, owls, squirrels, fish, snakes, a beautiful creek, sunshine, and a nice cool breeze under the beautiful trees. People are friendly and always greeting each other. The heron was resting or looking for food, I think. It's very interesting, and I never get tired of it. Hi dear! Every time I go there, most of the time I saw deer. That day, I saw a crawfish for the first time. My dog and I were excited. The crawfish was intimidating and hissing. I was like, sorry for bothering you. I love to go to the Big Creek Greenway because every time I go there, I feel calm, clear, and refreshed, and I feel motivated. I can be here all day, every day. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.
UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.